Good morning. I hope y'all can hear me this morning. I'm kind of coming out of a week of having the flu. It wasn't the swine flu, but I'm feeling much better, but I haven't quite got all my voice back yet. Syrian My adventure continues. Last time I shared with you, our house was in escrow. Then it was out of escrow. Now it's back in escrow. And we're scheduled to close, our house is scheduled to close on August 7th. I'm going to be flying out to Virginia on July 17th. And Siri's going to be joining me on September 5th. So I have to say, I think Siri agrees with me on this. We've never run a marathon, but this feels like a marathon. And I'd have to say that we are learning more. I think this is probably the roughest thing we've ever gone through in our 22 or whatever years of marriage. 26, okay. But it's forced us to trust and rely upon the Lord in a way that we never have before. I even had the opportunity at the last minute. I was chosen to go to a conference in Virginia with the people I'm going to be working with. So I got to meet my supervisors. I got to reacquaint myself with the Norfolk, Virginia area. I got to reacquaint myself with a couple of brothers in the Lord that I met there 6 years ago. So I really feel in a way that the Lord is going before us and preparing us. One of the things that I was surprised how many times while I was in Virginia that someone came up to me and said, "Why would you leave paradise to come to Virginia?" Well, you know, Hawaii is nice, but Hawaii is not paradise. When Jesus was on the cross, the one criminal said to him, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom." Today, Jesus says, today you will be with me in paradise. And this got me curious, so I looked up in the New Testament, how many times is the word paradise used? It's only used 3 times. This time by Jesus on the cross. The second time when Paul was describing a special vision or experience that God gave him, and he described as being caught up to paradise and hearing inexpressible things. And then the last time was in Revelation chapter 2, when in this letter to the church of Ephesus, Jesus said, "To those who are victorious, I will give the right to eat of the tree of life, which is in the paradise of God." True paradise is being in the presence of God, whether you're in Fiji or Hawaii or Virginia, wherever you might be. True paradise is being in the presence of God. I especially like this section of the book of Revelation, the 7 letters to the churches. If you notice that each letter starts with a different description of Jesus, and each letter is written to a different church. And these are actual churches at the time that Jesus was reciting these letters to John. And as far as, what we can get out of reading these letters, some people think that looking at these 7 letters, these 7 churches, is kind of a description of the stages that the church has gone throughout time. It's kind of a chronological history of the church. Other people think that it's kind of looking at 7 different types of churches that may be present today. Different strengths, different weaknesses, different challenges. And so I think that's how we can benefit from reading these letters and really looking, and that's what I wanted us to do today. We're going to look specifically at this letter to the church of Ephesus, which is in present-day Turkey. Could this letter be written to us? Could this letter be written to Makakilo Baptist Church today? Or to us as individual believers in our church? So follow along with me, if you'd like, Revelation chapter 2, starting with verse 1. To the angel of the church of Ephesus write. To the angel, literally that word means messenger. So this could be an angel, but it's probably referring to the pastor of each church. So in this case, it's the pastor of the church at Ephesus. To the angel, to the pastor of the church in Ephesus write, these are the words of him who holds the 7 stars in his right hand and walks among the 7 golden lampstands. So this is our description of Jesus here. He is the one who holds the 7 stars. And we actually know, if you just go up to chapter 1, verse 20, Jesus tells us what this means. He says the 7 stars are the angels, the messengers, the pastors of the 7 churches, and the 7 lampstands are the 7 churches. So, these are the words of the one who holds the 7 stars in his right hand, a symbol of Jesus' power and authority, and walks among the 7 golden lampstands. Verse 2. And I'm going to kind of focus in on verse 2 and part of verse 3 here, where Jesus says, I know your deeds, your hard work, and your perseverance. You have persevered and have endured hardships for my name and have not grown weary. I hear this around our house used in a negative way. Whereas, you can go into the bathroom and you see a roll of toilet paper that's totally torn apart. Siri will go to one of the cats and she'll say, I know your deeds. And this could be used in a negative way as well, by Jesus. I mean, let's face it, Jesus is saying he knows our deeds. He always knows what we're doing. He knows our thoughts. But in this case, he's generally using it in a very positive way. He sees what the church at Ephesus is doing. He says, I notice your hard work and your perseverance. You've persevered, you've endured hardships for my name, and you have not grown weary. I think this very well could be written to our church today. And this is exactly what I was thinking about. You notice at the top there, the verse, I know your deeds, your hard work, and your perseverance. And there's a picture of some of the guys, only a few of the many people that have been working on our church since we've been here under the tent. And I know I oftentimes have taken things for granted. I love meeting here under the tent on Sundays. But I often forget the hours that are involved by people setting this up so that we can be comfortable here on a Sunday morning. The people that take it down after the church, not only on Sunday morning, but Sunday evening. You think about everything that's going on in the church, the Awana program, the preschool. You think of all the family ministry group leaders. You think of all the teachers, the ushers, the greeters, the praise team. I could go on and on and on. And I ask the Lord's forgiveness. I know that there's many times I appreciate all of this, but I take it for granted. And if you're one of those people that you're wondering, does anybody really care what I'm doing week after week after week? Jesus does. Jesus sees. Jesus knows your deeds. And so be encouraged. Be encouraged. Because more than anything, that's what really matters. Because what does it say? It says, you have persevered and have endured hardships for my name. It's why you do what you do. It's for Jesus.